Excuse me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the New World Television Network. My name is Prolific-Abdullah. I'm a thought leader. I'm a cultural architect. I love to think. We do a lot of cosmic thinking, meaning that I like to take my perspective to another level. I like to remove myself from my current situation and to observe it from a whole nother angle. This is what we humans need to start practicing doing, because there's situations, there's problems that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, but it's hard to solve these problems when you're always in it. That's why when they tell you think before you speak, you have to reflect. You have to take a step back before you act or react. So have this cosmic perspective so that you can come up with the best solution for the things that you're currently experiencing, for what your community is experiencing, what your family is experiencing, what your friends are experiencing. In order to solve those problems, you have to think from a whole nother level. This is how you become a better person. This is how you develop, grand solutions. This is how you be able to leverage yourself. In this process, this is what I call traveling up the heavens. When you travel up the heavens, you're going up, meaning you're ascending up. Your knowledge is ascending. Your spiritual knowledge is ascending. And when you ascend up, you don't just go up to stay up. You go up to come back down, right? When you stay up, you're operating like a monk. But what you need to do is come back down because you are earth. So you come back down to the earth and apply that spiritual knowledge that you just received from God and apply it to your situation. Right? So that's you go up, you come back down, you apply this knowledge to yourself first, then you go out into society and you help society progress. Correct? This is what I call traveling the Sirat al-Mustaqim, traveling the straight path, right? Every human has the potential to travel the straight path, the spiritual path of growth. This is the spiritual path of growth that we all have the potential to do. Alright, so I'm framing it this way so we can understand how to approach a lot of these things. Right now, what we're going to talk about is males' mental health and the approach we've been taking for males' mental health. The problem that I currently have with males' mental health is the way that this Western hedonistic secular mindset have approached it. On top of that, they've been giving us a Western feminine framework for a masculine man. This is a problem. This is an issue, right? Allah says in Surah Rum, Ar-Rum, incline your face towards the fitra. When you incline your face towards the fitra, what you're doing is respecting the nature God has put you in. You're respecting how God has created you. The male and the female are created differently. The male, how they express mental health and how a woman expresses their health are two different ways. Right now in society, we're being told by a big group of people to just, male that should just be open and be vulnerable, right? This is hyperverbalization. The steel-pierced coder of just, let me lean on my shoulder. Like, no, we are males. This is not how we work. You're not respecting the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you. As males, we need discipline. We need structure. We need mission. We need to execute on something. And we're not executing on things, you're gonna see a high depression rate of males. You're going to see it. This is the outcome that you get when you're not being productive. So we have to respect first the framework God has made us. What is the psychological framework of males? What's the psychological framework of female? Then we build our solution around that framework. Peace, y'all. How y'all doing today? Peace, y'all. How y'all doing today? Tap in, man. Join in. We learning. We taking it to a cosmic perspective. A female, she verbalizes, she communicates from an external standpoint as a male does it internally. So she goes, she talks to people. She has people validate her. she expresses herself from an external manner. But the males, we need to learn how to sit in solitude. We need to think about the thing that we're going through. We need to think about how we're going to apply it. We need to think about how we're going to go through it. We need to think about what this is. If we don't do that, we're following society. Oh, you should just be vulnerable. They're telling us what to do, but they're not telling us how to do this stuff. They're not giving us guidance. That's a problem. We become heedless. And the thing is, if we continue on this path where males are going to be open, if males are going to be open, just to be open, just to be vulnerable, what you start to do is weaken the male structure. You weaken the male. And when you weaken the male, when you look into the future, the male will not have the ability that God gave him in the first place. The ability to be erect, to stand up, to walk through fire. You're going to have an imbalanced society. Therefore, your society is going to be built off chaos. You're going to see a lot of chaos. You're going to see a lot of issues. Right? This is what it is. So the feminine approach and the masculine approach are two different approaches, and we need to understand that. The people that are telling us to have a feminine approach, I look at them as Pharaoh. Why? Because you have to think about Pharaoh. What was Pharaoh? He slaughtered the males. He slaughtered the males. Now, to slaughter males, it doesn't always have to insinuate a physical killing, but to kill the potential of the boys to step into manhood. You're killing our ability to step into manhood if you keep telling us to operate in the way you think we need to operate. But when we do speak out, and when a brother like me speaks out, it becomes a problem. Oh, no, we don't want you to speak about that. This is what we want. So now you want to control what I'm speaking about. This is problematic. I also see them as Satan. What is Satan? Well, Satan, when Adam and Eve were in the garden, he deceived them. How did he deceive them? He told them that he was their sincere advisor. So we have these group of people that think that they approach us as sincere advisors, but in reality, when we eat off that apple, which is the knowledge, we're going to fall from our state of heaven. So we keep following this Western, heathenistic, secular mindset of what male mental health should be approached like. We're eating off the wrong apple, and we're gonna fall from our state of heaven. We're gonna fall from our state of heaven. Let me tell you something. As a Muslim, there's wisdom in our salat. Our salat, who's leading the salat? Males. This is wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is hikmah from Allah. This is straight up hikmah. What is it insinuating to us? Well, males, we are the leaders of society. We must be in the forefront of society. We are protectors and maintainers of our kids and of our women and of other men who cannot protect themselves. We need to see it as that. And when we start to see it as that, we get to step into these things that allow us to grow. See, another problem that we have that is they're teaching us to look at our problems as burdens. And when you look at your problems as burdens, when you minimize those things, you also minimize yourself. Because those are the obstacles that are supposed to help you become a better man. So these obstacles that you're going through, we do put a lot on our shoulder, but you need to understand it as opportunity. These things are opportunities that allow you to flourish, that allow you to grow. You need to be able to step into that fire. Step into it. Let's build off of it. Let's build manhood. We need to get through our rites of passage. We need to get on the other side of this. Not just for ourselves, but for our family and for our society. Allah has given us the ability to do so. So let's trust him. See, the word salat, the root word for salat also means to burn off impurities. So when we step into this fire, we're going to burn off the things that are holding us back. And we're being guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this process. We have to learn how to embrace this masculinity thing. Embrace strength. Embrace toughness. Embrace it. Love it. That changes your whole psychological state. It changes your whole psychological state, bro. So let's not alter the fitra. Let's respect the fitra and how God made it, and let's create a framework around that fitra. We live in a society where people are experiencing people are experiencing depression at a high state. Excuse me, at a high state, and suicide at a high state. Why? Well, we don't know our purpose. And this is the human tragedy that we're going through. We don't know our objective purpose on where we're all supposed to go, because we're all supposed to go to the one destination. God has designed that for us. But not only that, we are lost on about our own individual psychological state. So we don't know our objective state, or we don't know our individual state. And the individual state helps you, when you understand yourself, you can understand how you fit into the bigger image, into the larger picture. But we don't even know that. Why? Because we've been bombarded with misinformation. The enemy is doing his thing, dog. He's making sure that you don't get to your purpose, yo. So he throws all this information at you so you don't get to where you need to get to. And right now we're in a disease of ignorance. We're in a state of disease of ignorance, but we can get out of that state. And to get out of that state is to be educated. To be educated is to bring out what's already within. So you have to bring out the thing what's within you. What is within you? Well, God has designed a blueprint and design within you. When you understand that blueprint, when you understand that design, you can build on top of that. When you build a home, you need to know the blueprint. If you don't know the blueprint, you ain't gonna be able to build on top of the home. You're gonna have a weak foundation. You might not even have a foundation at all. So when something hard comes, you get tore down. What is the blueprint? What is the design that God created in you? You gotta, in order to do that, I'm gonna just answer it quick. You got to understand the way that you function as a human. So if you're a male, understand the function and the nature of that function. And when you study that, you'll learn how to operate. See, to be disciplined is to be a disciple. To be disciplined, we've connected it with consistency. And consistency is to do something all the time, every time. That's consistency. But to be disciplined is slightly different. To be disciplined is to be a disciple, to be a student of knowledge, and to follow those principles of that hierarchy thing. But what is our purpose? What are we supposed to do as humans? Well, when you think of the word purpose and suppose, they both have a common root word. It is pose. P-O-S-E, pose. Pose refers to how an individual stands, right? How an individual stands up, how he is erect. Now, this is not a physical stance, but this is an internal stance. You can feel people aura when they operating on truth. This is intrinsic value. So in order to travel up the cosmos, to travel up the heavens, to get onto the Sirat al-Mustaqim, you have to be upon truth, patience, righteousness, and taqwa. God consciousness. And I say God consciousness and not consciousness because there's a community that says to be conscious is to know yourself. And I will say that to know yourself is to know God, because if you know God, you understand the position that you have in the universe, and that is to be a Khalifa. That is to be a viceroy. That is to be someone who manages their environment. You have to manage your environment. How do you manage your environment? Okay, first and foremost, your soil, your earth. You're made from earth. Before you plant a seed, right, you have to make sure the environment that you're planting that seed is healthy. So the seeds that you have are your ideas. In order to have a healthy womb for your mind, you have to be able to develop the environment, the internal state that's going on within you. How do you do that? I'm gonna give you a quick brief. See, prayer is the tool that you need. What is prayer? Well, prayer is, it takes you from one state into another. It can take you to a negative state into a positive state. It can do vice versa. It can take you from a positive state into a negative state, depending on what you are affirming. So if you're affirming something negative, you're going to get something negative. You're affirming something positive, you're going to get something positive. And when you keep affirming it, it creates a reality internally and externally. So a prayer and an affirmation that I think everybody should live by, right? Not only for me, but it's by God, is Wala qad karamna bani Adam. Honorable and noble are you children of Adam. Affirm that in your mind, bro. When you start to affirm that in your mind, what starts to happen? Well, other thoughts build on top of that idea. So you don't just say that you're responsible and you're honorable. You start to say, I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm going to take care of myself. See, the thing about the mind, when you give it an idea, you trigger other ideas. So why not affirm yourself through God's words, which uplifts you and helps you understand your value and your placement, and build a thought factory from that idea. All right. So let's go back a little bit. Purpose, and suppose it is referring to someone, how they stand. What are you supposed to do? How are you posing? Because however you're posing inside is how you're walking your life. Right? In Islam, we have this saying, "Ahidna salat al-mustaqim." Mustaqim, istaqamu, meaning that he stood erect. Homo erectus. You can even link that with that, but you do your own thing. This allows you to connect to the heavens. When you're operating on truth, patience, righteousness, and God consciousness, it allows you to operate in the spiritual heaven, the spiritual realm. It gives you access to that. When you're standing up, when you're standing up, your leg is connected to the ground, your head is connected to the heavens. And it allows you to walk straight. When you don't, you're depressed. When you don't, you're depressed. What is depression? Well, let's talk about it. You're pressing your potential. You are not allowing the light that God put in you to shine. You're no longer standing. You're no longer erect no more. You walk around moping. Somebody is depressed, you can see it in their face, you can see it in their walk. You can see it in their whole structure. You can see it in their pose, the way they pose. It ain't upright. It's like this. They walk around like this. Like they don't know themselves. You're depressed. And this form of depression, what was happening is that in Islam we have this understanding of zulimat. You've oppressed yourself. When you depress, you're oppressing yourself. And I'm talking about the things that you can't control, not the external things like death and tragedies that happen outside. I'm talking about the things that you can't control. When you're depressed, you are oppressing yourself. And you're upon darkness. Now, there's nothing wrong with darkness, right? Darkness has its time, has its stage, just like everything else. When you plant a seed, it starts in the dark. But after a certain time period, it has to get out the dark and come into the light and build its structure. You're made, Allah says that you're made just like how plants are. You're born in a womb. When you were born, when you were created, you started inside the womb, the darkness of the womb of your mother. Then you came out into the light, then you grew. But if you stood in the darkness too long, you start to harm your mother. You start to become in a harmful state. So this darkness that you're currently experiencing, how long have you been in it? If you've been in it on a long time, you need to learn how to get out, because now you're hurting yourself. Darkness has a period. You have to be able to eliminate yourself or move your way out of that period. So that it takes nourishment. You have to cleanse that environment. You're a Khalifa. You're the one who's responsible vicegerent. You're managing your environment. Look at what's going on in your environment. Who are the people you're hanging around with? What are the things that you listen to? What are the things that you're seeing? What are the things you got to add or eliminate in order to get from this state into this other state? All right? Your purpose, the thing that you're supposed to do, is already designed within you. It's already designed within you. We said this already. My friend said there's two entities you cannot lie to. You cannot lie to yourself, nor can you lie to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't lie to God because he's all-knowing. Can't hide nothing from him. Matter of fact, if you think you can hide from God, that's a spiritual deficiency. If you think you can hide from God, that is a spiritual deficiency. All right? But that's not neither here or there. God created you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you. And as he created you, you are a representation of truth. Right? You are a representation of truth. Allah designed a blueprint. You need to understand that blueprint. You need to understand that function. This is the fitra. You inherently carry your purpose. The thing that was originally within Adam is within you. We are the khulafa of Adam. We min nafsi wahida. We all come from one soul. So the thing that was in Adam was within you, and you inherit that. And your spirit knows it. In modern language, you say your subconscious knows this. Your subconscious knows its purpose. But the thing is, you have to engage in the work process. So you have to consciously look back here. You have to engage your conscious mind into the subconscious so that your subconscious can reveal to you who you are, reveal to you that blueprint. This is the process of education. I call it education. Why? Because the etymology of education comes from this word educare, right? Educare means to bring out what's already within, to bring forth what's already within, what is within you, the blueprint that God designed. And you have to bring that out. You have to operate on that. When you operate on that, you are successful. You're living on a path to success. But you got to engage in work. You got to work on yourself. Are you willing to work on yourself? What's your commitment level look like? We're here to be productive, man. Adam built civilizations. You got to be productive for that. You got to be beneficial to our society, man. When you plant a seed, the seed becomes a tree, and this tree produces fruit, and this fruit, you benefit from it because you eat from this fruit. You can give to your community from this fruit. You can sell, have economy life from this fruit. Or you can restart the abundance process, correct? They're the same way. You're made like seeds too, right? Just an orange seed and an apple seed are two different seeds. Why? The structure of the seed, the imprint of that seed is different. There is a DNA structure inside of you that if you were to operate on that, you have gifts that you're supposed to produce so that you can help the society flourish. So when you plant yourself and you water yourself and you give yourself sunlight, what you start to do is produce gifts that you're supposed to give to yourself and to everybody else around you. This is how we reclaim our health, mental health. This is how we reclaim it. That's how we do it. Another thing is this. We need to redefine therapy in therapy sessions. Again, they're telling us to just come and talk about it. Emotional dumping. That is not how men operate. You're not respecting the nature of how we live and how we're supposed to live. Now, I'm not saying that men should not talk about their problems. That is not what I'm insinuating. I think we need to learn how to open up channels for that, though, and not just dump to anybody and everybody, right? Unless you're just, you're really going through it. There's conditions to that. I even think there's a misconception with therapy. Like I was talking to a brother, like he's like, the way we think about therapy is wrong. We think that we go to therapy and healing is to completely relieve ourselves from the issues that we've dealt with. But in reality, therapy and healing is about being able to manage the things that you're dealt with, not erasing it, eradicating it from your system. Right? As males, we need to lead and build our own therapy sessions, right? But our therapy sessions need to be connected through resources, through strategy, through discipline, right? That was the whole point of the mosque. It is mandatory for males to go to the mosque on Fridays. Again, this is the hikmah of Allah. And the mosque is not just to come to make zikr, which is a beautiful thing to do. I'm saying it's not the only thing we're supposed to do there. We're supposed to go in there, read the Quran, give your perspective. We're supposed to go in there and strategize. We're supposed to go in there and think about businesses that we want to build, people that we want to help. And the thing is, when you come with this type of mindset, you don't ever come operating off lack. You're not thinking, oh, what they can do for me. You're thinking, oh, how can I help my community? This is an abundant mindset. This is how I'm going to add value type mindset. And we need to understand what's value. A value, we've been taught nowadays in this society that value is only money. And that's a problem. Knowledge is valuable, very valuable. Truth is valuable. Patience is valuable. And being able to teach that. Being able to teach knowledge itself. Being able to teach different skills like in a trade. Financial skills. That's good too. Learn how to use your hands. Learn if you know how to fight. That's value. You're bringing value to the community. Me, what I'm doing right now, this is very valuable for people. It's very valuable for people to know. And when they know this, they can start taking on the process of working on themselves. This is what I call knowledge of self. Right? Part of knowledge itself is to know how you're made. Well, you're made from earth. Earth has precious resources. In order to get access to those resources, what you have to do is dig. You are made from earth, again. So in order to have access to the precious resources that God has put inside of you, you have to dig inside of yourself. And you are the tool that you need to dig inside of yourself. What is the tool that you need to dig inside of yourself? You need to be curious. Curiosity is your engine. Curiosity is your what? Curiosity is your engine. When you're curious, what you start to do is you give yourself the potential to grow, right? The whole point of an engine of a car, it gives you potential to go somewhere. Just because you have the engine doesn't mean you're going anywhere. Because you still have to turn the engine on. You still have to put the hit the brake, put the car on drive, then hit the accelerator. So there's other steps after that, after igniting, right? So with the curiosity as your engine, you need to be curious. You need to have questions. That's how you ignite your engine. But in order to go, in order to start moving from place to place, you have to find answers to those questions. And when you find answers to those questions, you got to ask more questions. That's the process. That's how you grow. That's how you develop. And when this gives you access to information, the whole point of information is to leverage. When you're informed about something, you get to make better decisions so that you can create a better life, a better outcome for yourself. Curiosity is your engine. See, in the word curiosity, you hear the word Q, like there's your Q. That's Q-U-E. There's your Q. When you start moving, you get to ask questions. You get to ask questions. From the word Q, the word Q, you can create the word question. When you start asking questions, you can start your quest. Q-U-E-S-T. You can start your quest. All right? That's knowledge itself. Therapy should also be as, we need to have boot camps. Therapy boot camp, dog. Where's that at? We need to talk about that. We need to talk about doing something difficult. Something very difficult, like an army boot camp. Eating healthy. You might be depressed because you ain't eating right. Right? Walking, writing, reading. Slowing your brain down, dog. You need to slow your brain down. You need to slow your brain down. We're living in a very fast environment, fast-paced environment. Let's transition. We don't have a discipline problem. We have a nutrient deficient problem. Our brains lack the nutrients it needs to function properly, to function in a healthy way. You got to get into your lion's mane, your chaga, your reishi, your turmeric, the MCT oils, MCT boost. These things build neurological connections in your mind. You're building actual roads in your brain. Come on now. And when you do that, you then can partake in the habits that allow you to build your brain. Praying, reading, writing, listening to positive information, hitting the gym. These things build callus in your mind. You have to build callus in the mind. Eating healthy. We also have to recognize that the way the infrastructure is built in this society is totally different. We're fighting a bigger war. Like, for example, Japan, the way it's built is built for you to walk. That's why you see a lot of healthy people. They're skinny, they're fit, they're meditating, they're eating healthy. Their minds are operating at a whole nother level than ours. But when you come to America, a lot of places in America are not meant to walk or meant to be driven on. So the infrastructure is built different. That's why you see a lot of everything is convenient. You drive everywhere. You drive to the closest spot. You see bigger people, unhealthier people. We're fighting a health crisis here. So let me connect that to social media. Well, the social media infrastructure is built to take away your focus. Now, if somebody can take away your focus, they can control you 100%. You no longer you never work on your purpose no more. So the thing you're supposed to do, you don't do it no more because you're distracted. You're distracted. So what I'm trying to say here is that we need to start getting into business that allows us to build mental infrastructure, that rewards discipline, that rewards focus. We have things that control our, I basically call it magic. The way you have to look up R.F. Skinner. The social media platforms are ran off R.F. Skinner's model on making people do things without them knowing that you're making them do it. It's a form of magic. So if somebody controls the next move, if they can control that you're going to go left, they can set up a trap that when you go left, they also make sure you take another left. And when you get to that left, you make sure you take it right or you go up. If they can do that, they've controlled you. They predicted you. And you have to come out of that. In order to come out of that, we have to invest in infrastructure that builds our mind, like libraries, walking in the park, businesses that give products, serve products like the Lion's Mane and the Rishi. Foods, open up healthy food stores. Late night food stores. I'm tired of all the healthy spots being open at night. We need to build something at night so that even when I get a late night snack, I don't really get late night snack at all. But when I want to get one, I can get something healthy. But guess what? What's open? All the junk food, all the candy, all the liquor. So we have to change this infrastructure. We have the ability to do it. We have the technology to do it. We just gotta learn how to tap into it. Right? And the way they talk about healing too is and this goes into like in Western ideology, we only talk about healing from an individualistic standpoint. We never talk about healing the environment that put us in this condition. Right? And the way the corporate is designed it's putting us in the condition that we're currently in. And we have to heal it. We have to heal it by doing what I just said, building the infrastructure. We also have to heal it by making sure that they respect our human nature. Just learn how to change policies. The Jews know how to change policies. Other people that are powerful know how to change policies. So that means we got to learn how to make money in a healthy way. And we demand righteousness. All right? Righteousness is a new currency, y'all. To be right is the new currency. To be upright is the new currency. To be living in the way that God has designed us to be is the new currency. The new dollar is righteousness, man. The new currency is righteousness worldwide. Worldwide, man. Call me Prolific-Abdullah, cultural architect, thought leader. Come on now. We're here to be great, man. We're here to build discipline, bro. We're here to connect with each other. We ain't here for no fugazi stuff. We're here to build our minds, man. Protect the intellect, right? When you're protecting something, you're preparing for it to be attacked. You're protecting what? The intellect. Your intellect is being attacked. By who and by what? Well, corporates, foods is creating chemical and hormonal imbalance into your mind so that you don't think properly. They also have social medias to make sure you're not focused. Protect the intellect. Protect your mind. Because when you start to protect your mind, you start to preserve your human value. You preserve the culture and the education and the knowledge that allows you to keep your human morality. What is intellect? Well, man is mind, your mind is your intellect, and your intellect is responsible for progressing society. How did I come to that conclusion? It's going to be my last breakdown right here. Man is mind. Well, the word human comes from the word earth. Humus, right? Earth is part of you're made from earth. You are made from earth. You're made from the same material of earth. Chemicals, I'm having a blank. Carbon dioxide, nitrogen, phosphates. All these things are made from earth. You are made from the same materials of earth. Earth, the globe, is part of the cosmos. So you are part of the cosmos. You hear in science that the cosmos is always expanding. That's telling you that you're always expanding as well. Man means mind, right? What makes you different than all the other animals? You have a cerebral cortex that is advanced. You can think on a higher level. You have conscious thoughts on a higher level. So you're earth-minded. You're an earth-minded creature. Humus, earth-minded. Man is mind. Mind is intellect. Well, And your intellect is responsible for progressing society. How did I get to the conclusion that intellect is responsible for progressing society? Well, there's a way I decode this. The way I call it, what I call it, is an intuitive breakdown. And an intuitive breakdown, all it is looking at a word and looking at other words that are within that word and extracting meanings for that and adding those meanings together. So let's do it. Intellect. You hear the word in, tell, lect, act. So you hear the word in, it's internal. You hear the word tell, it's like giving a story. Or telly or antenna, right? Antenna and telly or it's something that's sticking out in front of you and you're picking up signals in your environment. So your intellect, what it's doing is picking up signals outside of you and inside of you, and it's coming together. ECT is the act of bringing together. It's bringing it together, forming a story, and what your mind does, it selects, it elects the best information from that information that is been provided. And that information that it picks, it creates the reality that it's currently living in. So the things that you're informed of, outside or internal, you use that information to create your thought process or your belief system. That's what you use it for. That's how you process information. That's how you make better decisions. That's how you've been informed. So if you want to make better decisions, what you have to do is you have to change your environment so that your antenna picks up information that is beneficial, and you have to change your internal state. You have to change your internal environment and your external environment. So you have to work on yourself. You are a manager. You are a vicegerent. You manage your environment. That's your purpose. That is your purpose. Manage your internal environment, manage your external environment. When you do that, your intellect can produce the better ideas. It's in your nature to pick the best ideas. When you go shopping for a car, you want to pick the best car. When you shop for clothes, you want to pick the best clothes, the best bed, the best house. This is like literally in our nature to pick the best of things, something that's beautiful. So our intellect, it does what it does. It picks up all the information. It picks the best information from that information that is gathered, and it uses that information to progress forward. This is what the intellect does. This is the function. This is knowledge itself. If you are here, comment. If you've been on here the whole time, comment. What's your name? Where y'all from? Where y'all from, man? And I love these breakdowns. I can go deeper into these breakdowns now. Breakdowns be crazy. So protect the intellect. When you protect the intellect, you preserve the moral function of the human. Like back in the day, that's what they used to do. Back, we had the Timbuktus, Usman Dan Fodios, the empires, the Sokoto empires. These people, these empires, they were based off. It was rooted in education. It was rooted in learning, and this is how they produced their society to function in a healthy way. We've strayed away from that. We need to get back to it. We need to get back to it, y'all. Look, it's your boy Prolific-Abdullah, your thought leader, the cultural architect. I'm here. We cosmic thinkers. We universal developers. We're going to take this to the next level, man. Follow our podcast, New World Television Network. New World is about producing a new mind for society. We want to lead the world morally in a positive way. You see societies rise and fall. We want to build a society that rises. We do. We want to build our heavenly state. So come to the journey, man. Come with me. Come with us as we build, as we connect. We're going to give you the vision that God already gave us. That's in the Quran. The network is a connection of nodes that are working, basically, and we are those connections of work. Each individual is set up as a node, and if the individual does his job and is working, we're interconnected in that process. We're flowing in that process, and we're creating something for the bigger idea. All right, Prolific-Abdullah, man. Follow me on Instagram, Prolific_Abdullah. PROLIFIC_ABDULLAH. Prolific-Abdullah. Remember that name, bro. Remember that. Assalamu alaikum.